Azure AD is being configured on in a cloud, and we have seen a security feature or a governance policies on in a cloud. It's called RBAC. Today we are going to discuss about how DNS has been enabled for Active Directory here. How do we configure it on in a on-prem side? How different it is in on in a Azure AD. Then we'll discuss about hybrid connectivity. For example, like if you created a few user account on in a on-premises DC, how do we replicate that resources or a objects from a on-premises AD to cloud? What other replication method has been available? And we'll be discussing about multi-factor authentication, condition access, and other security features which has been available on in the cloud here. Let me start with the hybrid connectivity first. Then I'll go for discussing about Azure DNS and on-premises DNS and how this has been integrated with the Active Directory here. Let me give you a scenario here. When we had a discussion about on-premises DC, we understood server has been it's a mandatory component for installing a ADD. So we understood like if you're having a situation like on-prem available inside your organization, on-premise means that you have a server has been available. On top of the server, you have installed the operating system. On top of that, your LDAP or ADDS component is been installed. Once it is installed, this basically known as domain controller. So that's basically known as domain controller. And for providing a redundancy or availability, we used to configure additional domain controller or the locations or a data center or a data room where I don't have any redundancies been available. We used to have a RODC also available. All of us are already aware that if you are using a on-premises DC, we used to have a FSMO role concept, basically known as operation master role, or we already aware that group policy is the component is been supported here. In case if you want to put any kind of governance on in a OS level, you may be seeing like in your office when you connect your USB drive or when you try to make some firewall or a proxy changes on in the Internet Explorer, or the moment when you try to change your wallpaper, we used to have a restrictions, right? How all these restrictions has been made? It's been made with the help of a group policy component here. Now, when you take a Microsoft Azure Active Directory, it's been supported on in a cloud. It's been not supported when we had a discussion about a comparison here. The protocol is got changed here. We understood like there is no model like forest or a child domain or a concept of a tree kind of concept here, and this has been not supporting any kind of uh, options like operation master role or a group policy. So customer one, there is some group policy or a FSMO role or existing security settings which currently it's been available on the on premises needs to be applied to all the users which you are creating on in a cloud also. Right now we have a lot of security enablement is been done on in a on premises DC. Now the organization is thinking like I want to enforce all these policies to all the user has been currently it's been created here. So that is one um, case studies or that is one request we have been received from the client. Second case has been like you have a 10,000 user account has been created in a on premises. Now customer is saying like since I have a cloud is been available, I'm using a few cloud integrated application like a uh, um, Workday or HR applications. I have a few cloud application has been available here. I want to ensure that all these users are able to use this one. So technically, I want to use all the user account which has been created in a on premises or in a cloud. One option is been like I can able to recreate it on in a cloud portal. Let me give you one scenario here. If Eric has been trying to create a user account on in a cloud, can we use this account here or whatever user account we are creating on in a cloud and whatever user account which is already available on in a old on premises DC or a legacy one, is it the same or is it going to be different? Can you comment it on the chat? I hope you got my question. Let me give you a scenario here. I have a user account called Messi is the one user account available in on premises. If I'm trying to recreate the same user account in a cloud with the same display name, is it going to be the same or it's going to be the different? I'm just waiting for the response from all the members here. So technically, if you take any user creation, you may be heard about a feature called SID number. So the moment when you start creating a user account, always there is a security identifier number is got created here. So there's a way it's been created. So security identifier is the number. Normally this used to create for any user account which you are trying to create it on in a cloud. So you'll have a security identifier has been created for all the user account is been created. Now let me give you a scenario. If I'm trying for recreating all this 10,000 user, all this 10,000 user is going to get a new SAD number. Second one, it's been like whatever permission it's been assigned on in on-prem or whatever permissions which are going to assign on in a cloud, it's going to be totally different because your display name may be X, but the way it's been working, it's been the permissions or the policies are enforcing inside a cloud. It's basically the with the help of the SAD number. So SAD number is the one reason we are thinking about we can we use the existing resources or we can we use the existing user account on in a on premises to cloud. Is there any possibility of replicating you? So that is the discussion all of us are doing. So replication of the resources directly from a on premises to cloud practically has been not possible here. You may be seeing like when you had a on premises DC, we used to configure ADC or a RODC concept, right? So that has been not supported here. So previously, like when you take a ADC, you may be able to see like we have a ADC or a RODC concept has been available. RODC or a DC is normally we used to have a availability mechanism, right? You may be seeing like you have a availability mechanism is been available that usually used to replicate all the NTDS or a sysvault contents which has been available on in a DC into a cloud infrastructure. So that's been not supported here. Now, what is the option we have? And we don't have any option of direct replication also it's been not supported here. This is basically known as hybrid connectivity. So the moment when you start integrating your on-premises DC with a cloud, technically this has been known as a hybrid connectivity. It's like making a connectivity between on-premises to cloud here. So normally for replicating your on-premises Active Directory object into a cloud infrastructure, we used to use a concept called AD Connect. You need to use a product called AD Connect. With the help of AD Connect, you can able to replicate whatever resources has been available on in a on premises into a cloud here. So you need to have a option has been available where you can able to install and you can able to replicate the servers here. We can able to install a server directly on in a on premises DC also, but that's been not recommended by the Microsoft. In case if you want to replicate this one, normally we used to take a intermediate server. We used to have a intermediate server. We need to take it. On top of that, we need to install this AD Connect software. So typically, like in case if you want to use this one, you need to download this Microsoft package, basically like a MSA package. We have to download it from a Microsoft portal, and you need to do this replication of the resources here. So even you have an option for installing a AD Connect on in a cloud. Normally, it's been not supported here. So that's been it's been not supported here. That's an important point you need to do. It's been not recommended to install directly on in a cloud here. There's a important point you need to remember on in a cloud here. So it's been not represented or it's been not recommended here. So at any point of time, if you're getting a request or if you are getting a requirement for transferring or replicating the resources from a on-premises to a cloud, the best approach is that we need to install a AD Connect. AD Connect normally it's got installed on in a um, legacy, or sorry, we'll be taking on an additional domain controller. On top of that, AD Connect is been it's been completed here. So you need to have a AD Connect. It's the product has been available. Normally that has been assigned or that's been available on in a cloud portal. So it's basically like with the help of AD Connect, normally we used to replicate from one network to another one. That's the way normally it's been done here. Let me show you how practically this has been done. Like if you take a scenario here, so you have a server has been available. For doing this LAN, let's create a on-premises DC and let's create a few user account also. Let's go and see how a replication has been happening on in a cloud infrastructure here. Let me take a cloud portal. Just taking a server here. We'll promote a on-premises DC here. I'll take a server called apple.com and I'll install with the Windows Server 2016 and I'll create a few user account also. Then we'll go for creating of AD connectivity or a hybrid connectivity here. Let me take you into cloud portal also where you can able to install your on-premises DC. Let me take the existing one, delete and recreate. Let's wait for a minute. Let's wait for this to finish it. Right now you may be able to see like we have a we are trying to create a on-premises DC here. On the on-premises DC, we are trying to install a domain controller. So let's wait for a existing resource to decommission. Right now, decommissioning of existing resources are in progress. Once it's been done, we'll create a VM. We'll promote that VM as a domain controller. We need to wait a minute here. Deletion of the existing resources, which we have been created yesterday. It's in progress. Once the AD connect has been over, we'll try to have a discussion about how zone is being created or how DNS is being configured for in a cloud and a on-premises one. We'll have a discussion about that as well, because DNS is going to be the foundation services, or it's going to be the mandatory services is been available on in the cloud. So we'll have a discussion about that. Let's wait for a few minutes. Right now, you may be able to see like decommission is in progress here. Right now, this decommission is in progress. I think it's been almost finished here. So let's wait. Let's give a name. I have a one on-premises logical container has been available that I'm not able to delete. There is some vault dependency we have. So don't touch that one. We'll create for a new one here. Let me give a name for this on-premises DC is a production logical container that's called resource group here. Let me go to the virtual machine. Let me give a name. It's called production. Let me give a name called production configure. Let me give the name called DC1. So we'll configure DC1 as your on-prem server. We'll try to create a few user account also inside this one. Let me create it on in a East US location. I don't need any redundancy for my VM here. Let me give the username and password for connecting to the VM. It's typically the first user account which you are trying to create it on in a cloud here. Let me recreate here. Let me attach to one new network here. Let me give it like a DC VNet. So it's a bit easy for us to identify. Subnet also, let me give a subnet A here. Review and create it here. Let's wait for a few minutes. Right now the validation, it's finished here. I'm trying to connect to this VM. Let's wait. Right now this is it's in progress here. Let's wait. Right now the VM creation is in progress here. Let's wait for VM to finish this installation. Right now this VM it's got installed here. Let me connect to this server and promote this VM as a domain controller for my on-premises. Let me connect to this server using a public IP address, using a RDP also. Let me connect the server here. Let me connect to the DC1. Connecting to the server using a RDP here. Let me connect to the server. Right now, this validation is been going on in the backend. We may have to wait for few minutes. Right now, this connection is in progress here. Let me open the server manager and promote this DZ as a domain controller. So open the server manager. It will take a few minutes for loading and validating this configurations here. Right now, this validation has been completed. Let's go and install Active Directory service first here. Let me connect to the server here and promote this DC here. So we are trying to do a identity management discussion here. All of us are already aware that if you are using an on-premises DC, all the identity related or user management or a group management related activity has been handled by a service called ADDS here. So select this option, ADDS, and add the feature and install it here. Install the service here. Installation has been started. Right now, this installation of Active Directory binary files are in progress here. We need to wait for this. Let's wait for this to finish it here. So right now, this installation is got completed here. Let's reboot the server here, then promote this server as a domain controller. Let me restart this VM where we have been installed DC here. Let's wait just to finish it. Let's wait for this to finish it here. Right now, reboot is been initiated. We need to wait for this to finish it here. Right now, this installation, hope this may be completed. Let's reconnect using a RDP here. Give me a second. Let me change the display settings, change the resolution. Let me connect the server here. DC1. Yes. So right now your server has been look like it's been back. Let's install this service here. We need to wait for a minute because it will take a few minutes for completing the validations on the backend. So we have to be little patient here. Right now this has been completed here. Now on the notification area, you have a resources been available who where we can able to promote it here. It's been like you can just go to new forest. Better we'll give a name called apple.com here. It's promoting the domains here. So I'm just promoting the domain here. There's a DSRM password. All of us are available aware. This is for managing. So for managing the restore purpose here. Let's wait for this to finish it. Triggering the installation of DC or promoting the DC. It's in progress here. Installation has been started here. It will take few minutes. Installation has been progressing here. We need to wait for a few minutes. Installation is in progress here. Currently the DC promotion, it's in a progress state here. So we have taken apple.com and apple.com has been promoting here. So let's wait. It will take a few minutes here to finish it. Let me try to make some lecture note also for you parallelly. Let's wait for this to finish it here. Right now the installation has been finished and server is got rebooted automatically. We have to wait for a few minutes to the server to be back online. Then we'll go for creation of user account and we'll see how this can be promoted or how this can be integrated or replicated with a cloud infrastructure. Let's wait for this to be back online. We need to wait 1 minute. Right now this server has been back online. Let me connect to the server using a remote desktop connection. Connecting to the server here, giving this details here, the user account which we have been used for creating here. So it's called dc1.apple.com. Right now the server is been ready here. Right now you may be able to see along with your Active Directory, group policy components also is got created. Group policy component is been applying here. Let's wait for this is to finish it. Right now the DC is got installed here. You may be able to see this all components has been installed along with your AD here, and your DNS also has been installed properly here. You may be able to see DNS also has been configured. Let me configure a reverse lookup zone also for this. So because we need to add your AD connect server part of this domain, so better we'll add this as a part of the server here. Let's wait. There's a server. Yeah, let me configure this as primary. So the lab currently we have done, we have created on-premises DC here. Let me create a few user account also inside this. So let me create a few user account inside this AD. Then we'll try to see how to replicate inside to the cloud infrastructure. Let me give you user account. First user account I'm going to create inside this is let me create a user account. Go to user account and give a name called um, Ronaldo. Ronaldo is the name I'm giving. Ronaldo at apple.com. Ronaldo. Ronaldo. Let me give the password here. It's been configured here. Let me create one more user account here. Let me connect to the one more user account. Let me give a name called Sugesh here. Sugesh is the user account. Must be part of this training. He's got an account in here. Let me create the Sugesh user account here. So we have created. So two action currently we have been performed. If you go back to the whiteboard, we created a domain. Second one, inside this, we have created a user account, Sugesh, and we have created a user account, Ronald also. Now on other side, you have a Active Directory has been available. You have a AD server. It's been configured inside Azure. Now right now we are discussing how do we replicate this into the cloud infrastructure. Now even though we can able to install AD Connect software, this basically it's been done with the help of AD Connect software that can be installed on directly on in a DC also, but Microsoft is been not recommending, and always we need to consider about a security or a isolation of your DC. All of us are aware that DC or a domain controller is always considered as backbone of your network. So it's been not recommended to have your AD Connect to be configured inside your DC here. So we need to place a intermediating server here. So I'm just placing a intermediate server here. Like I have a separate server, I'll install it here. I'll give this name for this time being. It's called AD Connect. So we are trying to see how do we replicate here. You don't need to pay anything extra for this. You know, there is no separate charge for AD Connect software. It's a free software that can be installed on top of a VM. Now, one important point we need to consider here, the moment when you go for installing a AD Connect software, the version or the basic operating system where we are going to install this AD Connect has to be minimum Windows Server 2012. So 2012 or the latest version is been preferred here. Currently, I'm going to take a server here. I'm going to install a operating system minimum Windows Server 2012 or the higher version here. Let me go back to the whiteboard, creating a virtual machine, creating on in the same network. So it's been easy for us to make a communication here. Giving the name for the VM is called AD Connect here. The same server name, I'm going to use it here. Let me set the username and password. Review and create it here. It will take a few minutes and wait for this to finish it here. Right now, this validation completed, initiated and triggered the deployment here. Let's wait for this to finish it here. Right now, the deployment is in progress here. So let's wait for this is to complete it here. Deployment, it's in progress here. Right now, the deployment has been completed here. Technically, we have installed another server here. Next step, what we are going to do here is you will add this server, the intermediate server currently we have been taken. You will be adding part of this domain here. You have a domain has been available here. So you'll be adding the newly added or newly created VM as a member server here. So that is the next action we are going to do it here. Let me connect to this server here. Let me go and connect to the server here. Give me a second. Let's go and connect to this AD connect server here. Now your server has been what is a virtual machine? Yes, your virtual machine is here. Connect to this AD connect. Click on connect here. Download the RDP file here. Same one. Given the username and password here. Configured. AD connect. Connecting to the server here. So we have a configuration of the server here. So right now we have been connecting here. So the next action right now we are going to discuss here, how do we add this server into a domain, and we'll try to see uh, how to replicate the server here. So there is a lab right now we are able to do here. Now we got another question also from Muhammad Sairul Islam on the chat. Is it possible to do a Azure AD join? Yes, we have an option of Azure AD join devices. So you have any devices, it's been part of the Active Directory tenant, we can able to do that. You maybe heard about a concept called device registration. So with the help of that, you can able to do that. Possible, I'll try to cover how to do a AD join using a device registration. I'll cover it in the tomorrow's discussion. So answering to Sainul question, which has been posted on the chat, yes, we can able to do that. I'll try to do a please. What is the function of reverse DNS lookup? Baba, it's been like I'll cover this. Like I'll try to have a discussion after the AD connect, understanding about zone. We'll discuss about forward and reverse lookup zone. I'll try to cover private zone and a public zone inside a cloud also. Once the AD connect session is over, I'll take you into the DNS concept of AD and on-premises one. Can we have a certificate after that? Yes, it's been already confirmed on the day one by Sudak. It's been like we have already a certificate is been you are getting here. Right now we are back to discussion here because our server was been rebooting. That's the reason I've taken few Q&A questions. Any question which you have been posted on in a chat, if it has been not answered, possible like end of the session, I'll keep a Q&A time so that time I'll pick all the pending question. In case if you will not answer, requesting you to repost it on the chat window also. Right now our AD Connect server has been back here. Let me add the server into domain. Let's go to the server here. Go to the PC here. Let's change the server into the domain here. The domain currently we have been configured has been apple.com. I'm just giving like apple.com. But unfortunately, we are getting a error message here. See, I'm not, even though if it's been configured on in the same data center, we are getting a error message. We'll troubleshoot this. We'll take a 3 minutes refreshment break. After the break, we'll try to understand how do we troubleshoot this one. Why we are getting this error message, even though your domain controller and AD connect, it's been configured on in a same data center and same VNet. What is the reason behind that? Why I'm not able to reach my apple.com server here? Let's take 3 minutes refreshment break and come back. Thank you. So before small break, we were discussing about how do we install a AD connect. We were discussing about the purpose or the prerequisites for installing a AD connect here. One requirement when we go for any replication of the resources, we need to ensure that the server currently it's been configured needs to have a DC to be configured here. So we need to have a DC to be available, and the AD connect which you are going to connect it to that server needs to be added part of that domain controller. Currently, if you're taking this AD connect server, let me redraw this diagram so that will give you a better clarity here. We were trying to do a replication of the on-premises DC into a cloud here. You may be seeing when you implemented this on-premises DC, it's been connected to a VNet called DC VNet here. For example, like I have installed a DC here. So this assume or imagine this is your DC1. So we configured a DC1 here. I'm just explaining you how technically this has been working, how a DC1 here. This has been connected to a VNet. We given a name called DC VNet. Now on in the same VNet, so this is our server we have been promoted as apple.com. That's all already we have been discussed. Currently, we have been deployed another server here. Name of the server, we given it's a AD connect. Now you maybe notice like while deploying this VM, we have been configured on in a same data center, and it's been assigned on in a same DC also, right? On the same DC VNet VNet only. This also it's been assigned here. But the moment when you tried for adding this is to be part of that domain, when you try to add this as a part of a domain, we were getting an error message. So what is the reason behind that? Why we are not able to add? The reason why we are getting this error message here, it's by default your DC VNet is been configured with a Azure based DNS solution. All of us are already studied on in a legacy or a on-premises scenario. Whenever you go for domain join or a domain login, DNS is the base component always has been needed, right? You may be seeing like when you go for a AD installation, one message we used to get it like a DNS delegation, or you may be heard about a record inside a cloud or resource record available on in a DNS that basically known as SRV record, right? With the help of the SRV record only, normally your system or a DNS client is trying to reach out to the nearest domain controller available here. But right now, when AD Connect server, it's been trying to add a domain here. It's been pointing to a DC VNet. It's asking DC VNet, hey DC VNet, please provide me where is your DNS. Please provide me the DNS server for apple.com. Technically, the apple.com DNS database has been configured locally here on the same server where you deployed your DNS service here. But if you take a VNet properties here, let me take a 2 VM currently it's been configured. Let's take a DC1 here. If you take a DC1, you may be able to see the network currently it's been associated. It's been DC VNet here. See, it's been associated to a virtual network, DC VNet, and it's been associated to a chunk of unit or a subnet called subnet EA. Similar way for AD Connect also, it's been connected to the same VNet running on in a North Europe location. You may be able to see here also it's been configured with a DC VNet and a subnet EA here. Now, if you go inside properties of virtual network, you may be able to see this is been pointing to the external DNS server here. See, you may be able to see the DNS value. It's been saying that go on search inside a Microsoft Azure based Azure provided DNS. So it's asking like go and search the details inside a Microsoft data center or whatever DNS Microsoft has been providing. But technically you have been configured as a local server. Tomorrow you may be working for a cloudhub.com or your own organization like eric.com or sugesh.com or surag.com or baba.com. Then that details may be not having available with Microsoft, right? Because that is a locally defined domain. So what exactly we need to do here? We need to ensure that whatever record has been coming or it's been resource resolution has been coming here, that has been pointed to the local DNS server here. How do we do that? We need to connect to the custom server here. You have a custom option has been available. Inside a custom, I need to define. I'm saying like if there is any DNS query has been coming. The word normally we are using on in a cloud or in a DNS infrastructure, it's called query. You may be heard about recursive query or you may be heard about a term called iterative query also. So if there is any query has been coming, you are informing, you need to do it in a locally here. No need of connecting to Microsoft Azure based database. This can be resolved internally here. I'm just giving IP address of my DC server here. I need to find out what is the DC IP address here. I remember it may be 10.0.0.4 here. You may be able to see like we have a 10.0.0.4 here, 10.0.4. So I'm just need to point it on the portal here. You may be able to see like how a DNS server has been available pointing here. So I have to give 10.0.4. So let me re-enter here. Save here. Save virtual network. Once DNS configuration has been made, changes on in a VNet, we need to reboot all the VM it's been associated to that. For example, like you have a DC VNet, you have a 3 two VM is been available, it's mandatory that we need to reboot all the servers. So we need to restart the server here. So I need to restart the server here. That's a mandatory one. So whenever you make, if you are making any configuration changes on in a VNet, it's been mandatory that we need to restart the server. That's the way normally it's been working on in a cloud here. So let's wait for this is to finish it here. Let's wait for a few minutes here. Let's wait for the server to reboot. Let me reboot the next server also here. Restart it here. Let's wait. Let's wait for this to finish it here. Right now, this both the VM is got restarted here. Let's go and see how it's been practically working. Let me connect to the server here. DC connect. Let me connect to the DC connect here. Let me connect to the server using a remote desktop. Let me connect to the server here. Server here, it's been DC1 has been connecting. Yes, it's been loaded here, so it's got rebooted here. Let's wait for a minute. It's been loading. It's been loaded here. Let's connect to the AD connect server also. AD connect server also connecting here. Let's connect. Right now, this has been AD connect server also is got connected here. Let me go to my computer properties, add my server into the domain here. So the step currently it's been doing. So you just go inside a cloud portal. Inside my computer properties, change into domain here. Just mention apple.com here. So apple.com, trying to connect it here. So this Apple is the username. The admin configured here. So let's connect it to the domain here. Okay, and restart here. So right now we done an exercise of adding your AD connect server into the domain. That is the exercise. Currently we have been initiated here. Right now this been rebooting here. All of us are already be created here. So we need to do wait for a minute. Let's wait. Right now, Sugesh, I can see your comment also. In case if you are using a free account, normally we have some features may be not available on the free account here. So that may be the one reason. Normally there are two type of the tenant. It's been available. One is called as Azure AD Premium tier. Second one is been like Azure AD free tier also. So You may be able to see there are two type of, you can able to see it here. You can able to see it on a, right now you can able to see this server is got reconnected here. Let me reconnect to the server here. Reconnect. Let me connect to the server. You can able to see this server is got connected. Right now the server is being connected here. So technically we have done two part here. One, it's been like you enabled your DC server. Second side, you installed a intermediate server, which can be considered or can be used for replication here. The important point you need to understand on this scenario here, at, at any point of time, in case if you want to replicate, we need to have a AD Connect server to be available here. So we already have a server has been available. With the help of that, you are doing here. So you have a server has been available. With the help of that, we are connecting here. Now, second point, when you go for a AD Connect installation, AD Connect is a free MSI package. It's been supported by Microsoft. One important point all of us need to remember here, when you start installing this AD Connect, this is going to push or this is going to take all the information which has been available on in a domain controller and it's going to be distributed into the cloud infrastructure on the opposite side or means on in the cloud side. So technically, in case if AD Connect want to read any file or an object from an Active Directory database, we need to ensure that the account which you are going to use it for connecting to your on-premises DC, it's got an enterprise admin power. AD Connect, when you are trying to connect on-prem DC, that's needed enterprise admin power is being needed. Only with the help of the DC only, you will be able to do it here. So we need to ensure that you need to have a DC server to be available. Only with the help of that, you can able to do this one. So that's an important point. You can able to see it on in the cloud here. Right now, what I'm trying to say here is when you're using AD Connect, you need to have a two admin details to be available with you. One, it's that enterprise admin credential of your on-premises DC. Second one, you are going to push this details into your cloud. So you need to have a global admin details also to be available. So you need to have a global admin details also to be available. So at any point of time, when you try to configure your DC or a global admin, it's need or it's been required global admin and enterprise admin. Otherwise, you won't be able to read the files from a cloud. That's an important point you need to remember on in a cloud infrastructure. Right now, I know global admin and enterprise ID for my apple.com on my tenant, which has been available on in a cloud also here. So that's a way already the details been already available with me. So right now in the next step, I need to download this AD Connects MSI package from Microsoft portal here. It can be downloaded from the Microsoft portal. You can go to the cloud portal. On the cloud portal, you can able to give the details like AD connect here. You can just go to the portal here and give the details like AD connect. Just go inside the cloud portal and give the details here. So you need to just give the details here. Just go to and give AD connect download. So you need to download the AD connect software here. It's been downloaded from Microsoft portal here. So you don't need to have any separate portal or a site to be visited. This has been downloaded from the Microsoft portal here. Let's wait. Let's wait for because I've been enabled some security settings on in my browser. So it's been doing some enhanced security validations here. Let me add a row. This has been my trusted site. It's asking, is it a trusted site? So all your linked site has been adding here. Let me download from you. Have you just given Microsoft detail here? Let me add all these are my trusted website. Let me download this AD Connect software. Let me save it on in the desktop here. Let's wait for a minute. So AD Connect is got downloaded here. Let's run this software on in the AD Connect here. So technically this MSA package you are installing on in the separate server here. Let's wait. Right now you may be able to see the AD Connect. It's got installed here. So let's wait here. Let's wait for this to finish it. Right now this AD Connect installation has been started on the backend. Yes, right now you may be able to see it's been you may be able to see the AD connect has been installed here. Let me agree this license agreement here. Now, you may be able to see there are two options you can able to see here. One, you can able to see customize. Second one, it's been like you have option of use express setting. Technically, how do we need to reboot this? So how do we need to replicate here? Do we need to replicate the entire contents from the cloud, from the on-premises DC, or do you want to customize here? Customize here in terms of you maybe heard about a concept called organization unit on in a existing DC, right? Now you consider a situation you have a 10,000 users are available on in a on-premises that's been scattered across into multiple OUs though. Now your organization is deciding, Sugesh, you don't need to upgrade all the user account on into the cloud here. Instead of that, only the user account, currently it's been part of IT team or it's been part of the finance team, needs to be upgraded here. So in case if you're getting any such kind of requirement, then you can able to use a option called customized, which will ensure that it's been ensuring that only specified resources is been uh, it's been replicated here. That's the important point you need to remember here. That's the important point you need to remember here. Clear? So let's go and see this one. Let's be let me go for the first express route. Then I'll come back to the PTS or a PHS method here. Right now, let me go for the default option here. When you try to connect to Azure AD here, right now the first message you are getting, it's asking to which account this user needs to be upgraded here, or to which tenant this needs to be connected here. So it's asking the global admin or the user who got a global admin access on in a cloud where I can able to push this detail. So let me go to the Active Directory here. You can just go to Active Directory. Inside a users, let me promote one user account as a global admin. Let me create a new user account called let me create a new user called Messi. Let me try to create a user called Messi. Let me promote Messi as a global admin for my organization. Review and create you. Let me promote Messi as a global admin. Using a Messi account, I'm just replicating here. All the user account. You have to wait for a minute. You need to wait for a minute for showing this user credential on the portal. Yes, it's got created here. I'm just giving Messi is the global admin here. So technically what I'm trying to say here is when you connect on in a cloud portal, if you have created any user account information, that user account which you are going to use for replicating needs to have a global admin power. So let me assign a global admin role. Global admin is similar like your enterprise admin, which already had an on-premises scenario. So I just added this as the global admin for my network here. Go to Messi here, configure this Messi here. Let's go back, give the username, password here. Next screen, it's been validating here, unable to validate credential due to some AD connect, and there is some error message we got. Let me user account is been not able to validate here. Let me reset the password. Look like some issue with the ID. So let me reset here. Okay. I'm not able to validate using a cloud here. So there's some authentication issue we are facing. It's an unexpected one. Normally we are not seeing this kind of things. Let's wait here. Give me a second. I'm just resetting a password. Let me go to the portal here. Sign out. Let me connect the portal. It's been asking for I want to set a different method. I'll do one thing. Let me create a new user account because I've been enabled the authenticator option. That's so give me a minute. Let me create a new user account here. Let me reset this one. Let me create a user account called Sachin. Let me reset the password here. So we have faced some unexpected or the issue here. So trying to create another account. And it's been pointed to the same user. Let's wait for Sachin to replicate here. Let's wait for a minute. Right now, you can able to see it's created here. Global admin. We'll start. Add a permission here. Let me log in with this account. Let me reset the password here. It's not taking. These all are unexpected challenges while deploying. Review and create it here. Right now it's been must be later. Let me log in here. Look like it's been working here. Okay, great. So now let me promote this as a global administrator. It's been already promoted also. Let me take this user principal name. Let's go back to the AD Connect server here. Validating the credential here. Examine the domain. Yes, right now, exhaust. Basically, you may be able to see. You may be able to see like you have a ADDS has been available. So we have been connected to one side here. So right now, if you can able to see here, connection from here to here has been established. It's been clear now with the help of a global admin. Now it's been asking the message currently you are seeing on in a screen. It's asking here, Robin, to which account or which domain you are trying to pull or replicate the detail. So it's asking the on-premises DC information here. Now on the server, on the screen, you may be able to see when you connect it here, it's giving the details about the on-premises ADDS here. From where you want to replicate here, because once a connection has been established, it's got a permission to connect to the ADDS database here. Now other side it's been asking, how do we do it on in a DC side here? So let me give the enter the details here. Let me enter the details here. So here this is a place where we need to provide the ADDS or apple.com ID details here. Let me enter the details here. I just entered details of my on-premises DC enterprise admin. Right now this has been locating a domain which has been configured with apple.com and trying to read the database with the help of a admin account, TRG admin, which got a enterprise admin access here. Let's wait. Right now this Active Directory, it's been identify the server here. So I'm saying like this the apple.com. This is the domain. I'm going to replicate here. So we have been selected here. Right now the replication has been started here. When you do this default replication, we are not done any kind of a custom modification inside this one. Typically, like we are not selected any particular OU, or we are not defined what is the type of the synchronization to be used here. Basically, it's been the complete database which has been currently available on in the on premises here. You can able to see by default when you go for configuring here, a couple of connector or agent is been installed here. You may be able to see on the screen. There is a connector. Or there is a connector is nothing. It's basically using for connecting your Active Directory and a cloud here. Second thing, one it's like you may be able to see there is a synchronization option has been enabled, something called as password hash synchronization. Synchronization is nothing how the replication or how the object is been synchronized between two database that's been divided by two synchronization method has been available here. One, it's been known as password hash synchronization, or normally this is known as PHS method. Second one is basically known as PTS method. That's called password through synchronization. So these are the two methods. Normally, it's been available on in a cloud. So it's in asking which method you want to use it here. So technically, it's been configured with the help of cloud here. So the synchronization method by default it's been available on in a cloud. It's basically like by default it's been configured on in a password hash synchronization is the first method. Normally, it's been used here. You may be able to see it's been configured by default as a password synchronization is a method. It's been used here. We'll discuss about what is a PHS or a PTS. What is the difference? I'll have a discussion on that. Right now, configuration has been initiating here. Let's wait. Let's wait for this to finish it. Let's wait for this to finish it here. Right now, the replication between your on-premises to cloud, it's in the progress here. So we need this to finish it here. Let's wait. Right now, this replication is in progress yet, so we need to wait for this to finish it. Right now, the replication right now you can able to see on the screen. there is a health agent or a connectors has been installing on in each servers here. So typically this been pushing the information or the user account. Currently it's been created on in a cloud and it's been replicating to the other side. So that is the way it's been normally working. So let's wait for this to finish it here. Right now you may be able to see the AD Connect Health agent has been using for synchronization here. Right now this configuration, it's in progress here. So let's wait. Right now the configuration is got completed here. So right now we have installed AD Connect. With the help of that, you have been synchronized or replicated whatever user account which you have been created inside your on-premises DC. You may be able to see on in a DC here. So you may be able to see the user account previously we have been created on in your on-premises DC. So this is your on-premises DC. If you go inside a on-premises DC, if you go inside Active Directory users and computer, you may be able to see the user account. Currently, it's been created here. It's been users if you are taking. You may be able to see. I remember we have Sugesh and one more user account is got created. Name we are given. It's a Ronaldo here, right? Right now, if you can refer this users tab here, you may be able to see the two user account currently it's been created. One is a Sugesh and the other user account it's been created as uh, Ronaldo here. So these are two user account currently it's been created. Now, if you take Microsoft Azure AD here or Entra AD here, you may be able to see all this user account which already we have created inside your AD. It's or ADDS. It's got replicated here. See, you have a Sugesh and Ronaldo. It's been replicated here. You may be able to see it's been mentioned as it's an on-premises user here. See, it's been created on Ronaldo and this is the user account. You may be able to see it's been created as a member server here. Where this has been created, it's been created inside a on-premises one, right? If you go inside a properties, you may be able to see it's been replicated inside here, right? You may be able to see it's been federation has been enabled, account has been synchronized here in case if you want to do any kind of property change. Few properties you won't be able to change it here because this has been created inside your on-premises one. So the properties which it's been created on in a cloud, it's been not supported here. So it's because it has been created on in a on-premises here. Right now you won't be able to create it here. So one important point all of us need to remember here. Currently, the user account which currently have been created on say your on-premises that's got replicated here. So that means you have a user account. It's been available here. All the user account it's been created from a on-premises to cloud replication happened. You don't have any option for replicating reversely here. Means if there is any resource group or sorry, if there is any um, user account, it's been created on in a cloud. That means on in a on-premises to cloud replication only it's been supported. Reverse replication is been not supported here. If there is any reverse replication has been coming, for example, like from your on-premises DC to reverse here. Sorry, uh, the user account which has been created on a cloud to on-premises, that's been not supported here. There is no option of reverse replication here. For example, like if I created a user account such in here, reverse replication to on-premises is been not supported here. There's one important point all of us need to remember on an Active Directory replication or Active Directory uh, connect situation here. Now, how the replication is being enabled here? There are two mechanisms normally we are configuring here. One, it's been known as a PHS method. Second one, it's been basically known as PTS method. So you have a two method you can able to see here. One is called PHS. Second one is basically known as password through synchronization. So first one is called a password hash synchronization. Password hash synchronization means that the moment when you install your DC here, assume this your DC, and you have a installed your AD connect software here, and you have a Azure AD or Entra ID also available. If your AD connect software is been configured in a password hash synchronization method, right now we have seen user information is been replicated here, right? So along with your user information, if the mode you have been selected as a PHS, it's got a by default the option is been selected is a PHS. By default, if you selected an option called PHS, along with your user information, hash of your hash, that means your password also will be replicated to your cloud here. So that's an important point you need to remember here. At any point of time, if you selected an option called PHS, along with your user information, your hash value also has been replicated to the cloud here. So that means if the user is been connecting on into a cloud portal, authentication you don't need to depend on your on-premises DC. Since I got my username and a password, ticket grant ticketing or the token will be generated by the Azure AD itself. It's been created by the Azure AD itself. So you don't need to wait for any synchronization between on-premise or a DC here. Since my hash value also it's been created here, it's been created inside the portal itself. So you don't need to go for um, that's an important point you need to remember here. Now, there are some situation your organization is thinking we need to depend on in a DC here. The reason is been like if you take a DC, normally on premises DC has got a option of group policy or a lot of parameters or a properties here, right? In case if you want to go for depend on a on premises DC, because if you take a Entra ID or a Azure AD, it's been not capable of configuring all kind of configurations here, right? Because all the security policies will not supported on the cloud here. So in case if you want to use the existing on-premises DC for your authentication or validation, then you can able to configure your AD connect in a PTS method here. You have an option of PTS method here. When you take a AD connect option, let me open the AD connect tool here. Let me go to the AD connect software. Inside the AD connect software, you have an option of selecting your synchronization method is PTS. That's called a password pass through authentication. Yes, it's saying you are informing Azure AD, hey Azure AD, you receive the request, but don't do the authentication from your side. This has to be done inside your on-premises DC here. So you have an option has been available here. You can just go inside a cloud portal. Let's wait for a minute here. Right now, I will take an AD connect option here. Let me click on an option called configuration here. Now, inside a configuration, you will be able to see there is an option called customize synchronization option. You can able to select this option here. Give the Azure AD details here. Let me give the Azure AD credential, which I can able to use it here. So let me give the details here. Let me give the credential here. So this is the option. You can able to use it for selecting your OU also. For example, like I was been giving a case study. In your organization, you have 100 or 1,000 users are available. You are or the client has been deciding like we don't want to upgrade or you don't want to move all the user on the cloud here. And you can normally it's been selected from here. Right now it's been connected to the apple.com domain here. I'm selecting my domain has been apple.com here. It's been already configured, so you don't need to select the for us here. So this is the place as a user, you have an option to select the OU names here. For example, like you don't need to replicate all the user account. It's been already created here. You want to specify only a specific OU or a user account or a organization unit that normally you can go for the custom option here. You may be seeing like when you implement this AD Connect product, starting off the screen, we got the two option, right? One is for a customized option. Second one was it's about use the default one. We have selected a default one. That the reason all the user account is got populated here. In case if I've been selected a separate one here, for example, like load here, you may be able to see like you have a user account detail is been configured here. You may be able to see like you would have got an option for selecting the user account here. See, all the user account, everything's been selected on in the cloud here. See, you may be able to see you have an option of selecting a user account individually here. You may be able to see like you have option of selecting the specific user account has been selected on in the cloud portal here. I'm just saying everything is okay. Next and create it here. Password. You maybe got an option like a password through or a password synchronization here. So this is the option normally we are using. Let's wait for this to reconfigure it here. You may be able to see there's a one more option you can able to see here. Something called as password write back. For example, like if your user account is got replicated on an Azure AD, there are some situation users may be resetting a password from a cloud portal also. So what will happen if I'm resetting a password on in a cloud portal? For example, you have a AD has been created. For example, like someone has been trying to reset the user account using Azure AD. What will happen? Uh, For example, like you have a user which has been created on an on-premises DC that has been replicated to cloud. And if I'm trying to replicate it on in a cloud and trying to reset it from a cloud portal, what will happen? If you take by default scenario, you don't have any rights to reset the password for the user who has been created on an on-premises. So in case if you want to do, you need to enable a feature called write back here. Normally, you may be able to technically it's been enabled. We have to create it with the help of a feature called write back here. So that's been in a cloud portal. You need to do it here. Exit and just reopen here. there is an option you need to enable that's called write back here. You need to do it on in a cloud portal. Technically, it's been configuring here. Let's wait AD connect to reload. Right now, this AD connect, it's been loaded. Let's go for the configuration. You may be able to see there is an option called write back here. So let's go for the customizing. I remember it's been inside this one. No, not this one. There's an option you used to get is something called as a write back option. Practically, we used to do it on in a, yes, this is the place where you can able to configure this. Write back and this one. This been normally it's been configured inside this one. Here you can able to configure this one. So in case if you want to reset your password, or in case you want to go for any Azure AD join, that normally needs to be enabled from here. Enable to see here. It's been examining the domain. Here, this is the place you can able to do here. See, hybrid AD join. For example, like in case if you want to configure a device right back, basically like if you want to reset the password using on-premises DC using a cloud portal, that can be done with the help of this option. So these are the option normally we are using on in a cloud. With the help of that, you can able to configure the replications between on-premises to cloud here. Let me pause it here for taking all your open question related to Azure AD. I'll give you a handout and details also for this. Whatever things so far we have been done, let me give you a handout and a presentation for this. Let me post it for all your questions. You can post it on the chat here. Let me try to answer all the questions now. Let me go to the chat option and see is there any kind of any question has been posted. Let me see this questions on Zen. I can see still no question. Yes, I think I can able to see a few question has been posted on the chat. Let me. You can able to Sukesh. You can able to configure pass through authentication even if you delete the users from the on-premises one. We can able to do. Uh, that's the way it's been password is got it's changed here because the reason it's been like when you create a new user account, Microsoft has been informing a user you set it your own user account or a password. That's the reason that's been given here. So that's the reason it's got a permission or a flexibility for a end user to reset their own password here. rather than the password is being generated by the admin. So that's the reason normally Microsoft is allowing a flexibility for the user to configure it here. Any other questions? I did okay. If I were to do the subscriptions, okay. Any other questions I've been missed? Please DNS look up back. Okay. So right now you may be seen. I hope AD Connect concept has been clear to everyone who joined today's session. I'll give you a handout and lab manual and a presentation also for this or in the WhatsApp group. Now there's one topic is been left out, how DNS is been configured for this. Now when you configure on in a on-premises scenario, you may be seeing like DNS is going to be the base component for an Active Directory because your Active Directory has been located with the help of the resource record, which has been currently configured on in a cloud here. You may be able to see like you have a cloud, it's been available. Inside this, you can able to configure that one here. So typically, if you take a on-premises one, you have a you have to install mandatory DNS service here. So DNS services needs to be installed. Once your DNS service is installed, typically that server has been basically known as DNS server here. How DNS server has been working? It's basically working with the help of a concept called resource record. So this basically will have a resource record has been available with the help of resource record. The configuration or record creation has been working on in a cloud. So with the help of that, you have a resource record or the resolution, basically the term we are using called resolution here. With the help of resolution, this has been happening here. So with the help of name resolution, your organization deployment has been working on in a cloud here. So you have a resolution has been available. So with the help of a resolution, it's been happening with the help of records here. Now, how the resolution has been happening, you may be heard about DNS has been using for a two purpose. One, it's been using for name to IP mapping. Second one, it's been like IP to name mapping. So this is basically configured with the help of a concept called zone. You may be heard about forward lookup zone. Forward lookup zone is nothing, name to IP mapper. IP to name map, it's been configured with the help of reverse lookup zone here. So with the help of reverse lookup zone, it's been configured on in a cloud here. So you have a forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. This is the two concept normally we are using. So typically, if you take a DNS concept on in a cloud, it's been configured on top of a physical host or a top of a server here. But when it is coming on in a Azure infrastructure, your DNS has been typically configured in a different method here. One, Microsoft has been by default has been enabled a DNS for you. You don't need to install any physical host or a VM. By default, there is a DNS has been configured for all the computers here. You may be seeing the moment when you VNet is got configured, normally we used to get a two options inside the VNet properties here. If you go inside a virtual network, my virtual network is already here. If you go inside a DC VNet, inside a DC VNet, you may be able to see there is a option you can able to see something called as a DNS over here, right? You may be able to see custom or a default one. Two option normally we are getting. So that's the reason when your VM is got created, normally it's used to get some names like a dot on Microsoft.com. There is you may be able to see like you used to have a some I cannot say it's a junk name. It's been like Microsoft given domain name. You can able to get it here. So if the organization is been not preferring that, for example, like some of the organization, they may be preferring to have a cloudhub.com or x.com or a y.com. as per the business requirement. In case if you want to do that, you need to go for a concept called custom domains. You can able to purchase the domain from um, GoDaddy, or there are vendor provider or a domain provider organization. GoDaddy is the one organization normally responsible for, or it's been able to provide the domain names to us. So you can able to get a domain name from a GoDaddy site. From there you can able to do it here. So you have a GoDaddy site is been available. From there you can able to finish it here. So you have option of completing, or you can able to get the same here. That can be configured as a option under a zones here, something called as public zone here. You may be able to see there is a option. If you type it here, something called as zone. If you type it zone here, this will be created as a something called as public DNS zone here. So here you can able to customize your domain here. You can able to give the name or the instance name which you have been published or you have been purchased from a GoDaddy site, and that details you can able to give it here. For example, like if I given my domain name, it's been like cloudhub.com. I can able to give the cloudhub.com here. I just given a production review and create it here. So I just given cloudhub.com here. I just given created here. Let's create a cloudhub.com. Let's wait for create it on a cloud portal here. Let's wait for this to finish it here. Once your domain has been created here, you may be able to see there is a few NS record is been added here. So this record you can able to add in a GoDaddy website where you will be getting a username and password. So if there is any domain is been pointing to cloudhub.com in internet, automatically that will be pointed inside to this zone here. And you don't have any physical host or a virtual VM is been available. You may be remembering like when you configure a DNS server, we used to configure our own DNS servers here, right? Right now, you may be not seeing any DNS server here because that's been acting like a PaaS service here. You don't need to install any Windows operating system or Linux operating system here. Everything has been configured inside this one. So in case if you need a domain to be published in internet, then you can able to have a cloudhub.com here. With the help of that, you can able to configure it here. So you have an option has been available where you can able to configure the servers here. You can able to configure it on the portal here. So you have an option has been available where you can able to reset the, or you can able to do the name resolution here. I hope this point has been clear. Now, in case at any point of time, if you're thinking like, no, I don't need any server to be connected to the external network, then you can able to configure something called as private zone also. You have something called as private DNS zone has been available. So in case a local DNS server can be configured with the help of this. Or even in case if you want to use your own local DNS server inside your network, you can create a VM. On top of that, DNS can be configured, and on in the network tab, you can able to point to that. You can take your network tab here. Inside your network tab, you can able to point your DNS over here. So this is the way normally the DNS is been configured on in a cloud infrastructure here. Let me pause it here for taking all your questions. Let's wait for Right now, you may be able to see you have a DNS topic has been covered here. If you're good, let's wind up for the day. I'm not seeing it. Handout and material will be provided here. We'll work it on that. Okay, we'll try to upload it. We'll upload it on the Discord channel. Okay, the people is not available in the WhatsApp group. Don't worry. We'll try to upload it on the Discord. Surya, we have an option to upload the documents there, right? Discord also we can able to do that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So no need to worry. So we'll ensure that the people who don't have WhatsApp or who's been not joined in the WhatsApp community we have an alternate uh, platform is been available, active forum is been available. We'll use the Discord link here so that you can able to have it. Over to you, Surak. So we have been covered hybrid connectivity today, and we have been discussed about DNS also. Tomorrow's point, we'll be discussing more about application registration and other security configuration inside Azure AD or the Entra ID here. Thank you.